Welcome back to the channel. I'm Crypto Trend Trader, and today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin on the daily. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. Alright, so here we have the Kraken chart on the daily, and we've got a couple of moving averages pulled up here. You'll see the red is the 10, the 21 is the yellow, 50 is the green, 89 is the purple. And then we have both 200s in green, the simple and the exponential. And then we have the 377 here in gray at the bottom. So as you can see, we fell below the 10 here and got that big sell-off, broke through the structure we had. We couldn't find much support on the 200s, ended up dropping all the way down to the 377 on the daily, where we found support. And we did test the 200 here as resistance. Come back down, test the 377 for the third time, and then we were able to bounce back up. And now we're testing the 200s, which are lined up with the 21 as well, and it looks like basically we got all the way up to it, held it, and now we're starting to sell off. So depending what happens here, if we can hold the 10 and break back above the 200s on the daily, I would expect us to come all the way up here, basically to like the $9,200 range and test the 50 after that. But if we can't get above the 21s and the 200 right here, I would expect us to sell back down at least to the 10 immediately, the 8,400 range, and then just come all the way back down here to the $7,800 range at the 377. And as you can see, we basically were getting the accumulate all through this area. We got the move up, but this is a typical resistance point on the TD MACD. What will happen is you'll get the green histogram moving up, and then right before it crosses over, you'll find resistance. And as you can see, that falls in line here as well with the moving averages. So based on what happens here, I think we're likely to get continuation. If we do break through here and we can get a daily close, basically above 8,700, I think that's huge. And like I said, we'll definitely get that move up here to the 9,200 range and possibly even continuation. We could even bar all the way back up, hit the 90 at 9,400. But again, that's all contingent on us breaking through this little resistance area here. We have three moving averages all coming in at the exact same spot, so we're going to need a powerful move to get up above it. But if we can get consolidation here above the 10 and just kind of bounce around here and hold, I think it's more likely that we get the move up. We got this powerful move up here, found resistance. So if we can consolidate long enough, we could potentially get that other move back up to the top here. Let me put a couple trend lines back on and see what we got going on. So yeah, once we broke above that heart line of the channel, we basically just getting held down by the moving averages. And you'll see that 50 and the 89 fall in perfectly in confluence with those two resistance points on the channel. So you'll see they line up perfectly if we did get the test up. And we've got that yellow long-term trend line that's coming in with the top of the channel here as well. Basically putting our max for any time in the near future about 9,900. But as long as we do keep following this little rising channel, basically, we could come all the way up here and then basically get our sell-off at the fib circle right here, or even continuation. I'm not seeing anything that's going to tell me that we're going to reverse this trend anytime soon, though. I think the most likely thing to do is we're just going to move around inside this channel. But again, we could get a test all the way up to the top here. So 10,000 is not out of the cards. It's not really telling us much right now. According to the indicators, we are going to move up with continuation here, but that's counter trend trading right there. The easy trade's already been had, which was that pop up here. Now we need to either look for the continuation trade, or we need to look for the reversal continuation back to the downside. We don't want to just be rushing in here to take trades. I mean, there's definitely scalps off of resistance and support. Like if it comes back down here to the 8,400 range, I'll probably buy it again for another bounce. But the more times it tests it, the less likely it is. Let's drop down to a smaller time frame here. You can see on the 4-hour we basically popped up. We're staying above the 10 and the 21. We got them crossed above the 50. We're above the cyan now. So if we can stay above this 89, I mean, we'll cross all these back up to upside. We are extremely close to the parabolic SAR, though. I mean, we're using it as support, and we have been these last, this will be the third time. But, you know, we are definitely in the danger zone right now that if we do break this, we're likely to get some kind of continuation back down to the downside. We're also all the way at the top. Basically, on the 4-hour time frame, all the indicators are saying that we're going to get downside move. And then we can look at the weekly as well. Yeah, and again, I mean, this is, you know, when you look at it like this, it seems so obvious because we're obviously inside this channel. We made it all the way to the bottom of the channel. We hit this long time trend line support right here. So now, of course, we would get a bounce the first time. And again, if we get all the way up to the 21, that's about 9,000 range. If we make it to the 10, that's about the $9,300 range. And again, that's right there in the center of that channel. So I don't think it's unrealistic to think that we could see that. But at this point in time, we got to just wait and see how it all pans out. There's definitely some trades to be made on the lower time frames, but let's see a real short time frame. Yeah, I mean, we're still finding a little bit of support here. We're fighting to try to keep this trend going on, but parabolic SAR on the hour is about done. I mean, if we drop below 8,500 here, you know, we're likely going to get that test back down, which I would actually be more bullish if we got a test down here and tested some of these moving averages again and then got to move up rather than if we just got to move up. But you'll see here the jewel is starting to get that negative slope. We're well below the slope line on the TJAD, TD MACD. It's still blue for now, but it can only stay below that blue line for so long before it'll flip it back over red. So if we get any kind of sell-off below this point right here, even back down to the 50 and the 377, that's going to flip red on the hourly, and we're going to probably see that move start materializing to the downside. I mean, you can see last time we got this signature right here, you know, we got a nice continuation to the downside, nice move to the downside there. Probably what percent this is. And that's like an 8% move to the downside. Then we got about a 10% move back to the upside, 11%. So if we saw another 8% back to the downside from this area, yeah, I think 7,800, 7,900, 8,000. I think that's a likely area. I mean, as far as this orange trend line has been holding us up, and that's a long-term trend line. So realistically, if the white one here does break, you know, we could see a bounce off the 8,000 range. I don't think we'll get well below that unless we get a violent move. But again, I think it's more likely we probably get that move up to 9,000. I mean, it looks pretty bullish. We're holding strong right now. You know, we could see that anytime in the next, you know, 6 to 8 hours, really 4 to 8 hours. We could see that move before 4 a.m. So, well, there you have it, guys. That's Crypto Trend Trader, Bitcoin chart on the 4-hour, daily, weekly. Looking for a little more of an idea for a trending trade rather than just, you know, trading all these little chop moves. So, thanks a lot for tuning in and checking out the channel. Appreciate picking up new subscribers every day. And keep watching for great content. Thank you. Have a great day. Crypto Trend Trader signing out.